Soundstrap.
Trying to get a lot of dough. Anything is possible. Turn me up in the headphone.
Soundstrap.
Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Yeah. Trying to get a lot of
Welcome back to the XandOsportstalk Sports Show. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley. Hope everybody's doing well. NBA is over, of course. Football is on the brink of coming back in the midst of everything's been going on. I'm helping with a local football team. So it's official. I will be coaching for this year. This will be my first year officially coaching. I've been doing some consulting over the years and doing my podcast, but it's official that I'm actually excited about the opportunity. I'll be working, however, on the offensive side of the ball. We had some 7-on-7s, and I got to call the plays, and I'm not going to lie. I try to air that thing out. And, I tried to one thing that I try to do, especially if I'm calling plays, and some people get caught up in some things, I actually look forward to attacking all three levels of the defense. So if you run a specific coverage, I will have at least one route that can beat all of them. But like I said, I had a good time. And speaking of airing it out and quarterbacks, this video is going to be the top 10 gunslingers that I feel that are in the NFL. Every team is looking for a franchise guy. However, every quarterback that comes into the NFL is not a franchise guy. And a lot of the guys, some people think they're game managers, but I'm going to give you my 10. So let's start off with number 10. The fact that a lot of people have this guy Allure on his list. I do not. I think it's redemption time, and I think he can do it. No other than Russell Wilson. Last year was a good visual of a good quarterback in a bad fit. One thing that I noticed that the running game that he had, in my opinion, was mediocre and it had fumble problems. You can throw the ball a lot, but Russell Wilson is better if you have somewhat of a running game. Like I said, I felt like the fumble problems at the beginning of the year killed them, and the fact that once they couldn't run the ball, they relied only on Russell Wilson, which he can do it, but we'll get to that part. But I think that the play calling didn't match up with their personnel. I felt like Jerry Jeudy could be great for the Broncos. I remember when he first came in the league, I'm like, he's just another fast guy. Can't come in and out of his breaks. He actually has gotten better. I give him his credit. I think that he could be a better fit for the Broncos than most. And I feel like with Sean Payton now, I feel like he could be a faster Michael Thompson with the Sean Payton's offense. Jerry Jeudy's not a small guy, 6'1", and he's a good route runner. He's better than I thought. I thought he was another speed guy. But I saw some things that I liked, and I feel like Sean Payton would get the most out of him. And he could take the top off of defense. Michael Thomas was a good possession guy. But Michael Thomas won't blow the top off nobody's defense. Like I said, he'll box somebody out for a jump ball, but that's about it. But I feel like Sean Payton will get the best out of there. And a lot of teams, their schemes just don't fit the guy. And I feel like Russell Wilson will have a redemption year, and that's why I put him in my top 10. Number 9. I know some people was like, on the fence about this guy, but I was not. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is worth a number 9 in my top 10. I got Trevor Lawrence. Welcome to the top 10. He won me over because he has a good understanding of his offense. Good coaching staff is actually helping him out. Also, one thing I do like is he has some grit. And when I say grit, he went down, I think he had 3 interceptions and 1 fumble. Or it could have been 4 interceptions in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, in that playoff game. The fact that he fought his way back. Most guys like, I was going to mail it in. It's time to go to Cancun. He actually fought his way back and actually got into the game and actually finished and won. Unfortunately, he did have to go against the Chiefs, which they finished him off. I feel like Trevor Lawrence has a good arm. He has a good understanding of his offense. He's more accurate than the average guy. And I feel like he will get it done. Now, I got him at number 9. He's going to have to win some more games and put up a whole lot of more stats. But I think he could do it. That's why I got him at number 9. Number 8. This guy, Mr. Flip His Hips himself, Everybody know him as Dak Prescott, but I always joke him about it because the fact that he feel like hips is very important when throwing the ball, which he is not inaccurate. That is a very good fluent part of the game. You don't have good hips, you actually can't get the ball and snap your hips around to get the rotation right. Sometimes you can't throw just all arm. You got to use your legs. So I like Dak at number 8. I don't think he's a slouch. I always give him a hard time because he's a Cowboy because he's in our division. I think Dak can have his guys in the playoffs this year. The biggest thing for his shortcomings is the postseason. And he hasn't had a whole lot of losing seasons, but that postseason has been killing him and it's been haunting him. Now, I will defend him on this point. They could never figure out who they wanted to actually be the feature guy. Sometimes to be Zeke, sometimes to be CeeDee Lamb, and then they want to throw it 40 times to show that, oh, this guy can throw. But the thing is, he played his best when they played off of play action. He's actually fairly accurate. He's better than, I thought he was coming into the league because I felt like he was a run-first quarterback, but he showed us wrong. So Dakota Prescott, I think if they feature him and CeeDee Lamb and have a solid run game to keep those defensive ends off his back, I feel like Dak could have a good season. That's why I have him at number 8. So, of course, if you guys feel any different, that's what those comments are for. Make sure you put your numbers down there of who you feel like should be 10, 9, and all the way to 1. But next up is Lamar Jackson. Now, I like Lamar at this position. A lot of people said that they are afraid of his injuries. I really felt like he could have played last year. But the thing is, with that contract looming, I wouldn't have played either. And the fact that they're going to put 3 tight ends on the field all the time and think he's supposed to run the triple option, no. The read option is cool, but the thing is, he can't stretch the field with 3 tight ends out there. Those guys ain't running 4-4. So I do like they went and got Odell Beckham. They are trying to put more receivers around him. And he can throw the ball. He is not just a run-first quarterback. I watched him in college. He threw the ball pretty well then. And even if he had 1,500 yards rushing in college, those were called runs, not scrambling out of the pocket. There's a big difference. So Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore, he signed that nice big contract. Now, he has some red flags with the injuries, but I think if they actually can protect him, he's not in, harm's way all the time running the ball with that outside zone option and running inside. I ain't really a fan of that. Like, okay, if you need a couple first downs, cool, but not as a primary runner. No, he's not going to last. And there's no way he's going to throw for 4,000 yards and 3 tight ends on the field. No, those guys ain't that athletic. But I feel like Lamar Jackson is due for a good season. He got a new contract. Nothing is holding him back. He should be coming back healthy. So that's why I put him at number 7. Now, this guy at number 6, I like him. I liked him since he came out of college. I thought he would be mediocre coming out of Oregon's offense, but he has showed up every year besides that playoff game, which made me upset because I didn't bet any money on it, but I definitely thought he would have won if somebody gives you, if I'm mistaken, off the top of my head, 4 turnovers, you got to close them out. So Justin Herbert for the Los Angeles Chargers, I have him at number 6. I wanted to put him higher on the list, but he blew it in that playoff game. You got to close those games out. He just inked a new contract for $262,500,000. That's a whole lot of money. And he got $193,738,000 is guaranteed. He's making around $52 million a year. He has to go deep in the playoffs in order to stay on this team. I like that they paid him. I feel like he's worth it. But you can't take that type of money, because you take that type of money, your targets, as well as your running back, your offensive line, their contracts start to get cut. That ain't going to cut it, so that means you're going to have to carry more weight. He's going to have to actually go into knowing that he has to carry a bigger portion of the load. And to get past everybody in the AFC, in the words of Liam Neeson, good luck. Number 5. I like this guy. He's been one of the guys I've been watching majority of my career when I played and also when I stopped playing. This dude is a bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I still feel he has something still left in the tank. Yes, I do. The fact that he's around, 38, 39, he's hitting that 40 brink, but I think the Jets have spent enough money and put enough weapons around him for him to be productive this year. I feel like all the guys in the AFC are good, but nobody has the veteranship that he has. Between him and Patrick Mahomes, I think it's going to be the two dominant threats, keyword threats, to win the AFC. However, with all the money and all the trades, somebody's going to get fired if the Jets don't make the playoffs. I can guarantee you that. Man, he won't get traded in his first year, but somebody's going to get fired. And I think it's going to be the executive office if this doesn't work. However, though, one thing I didn't like in Aaron Rodgers' career was I feel like Green Bay wasted a lot of his good years putting mediocre talent around him. He's throwing 4,000 yards. He's getting MVPs late in his career. And they still only gave him one receiver sometime at a time. He'd have a mediocre tight end, a good back, and one receiver. He could have had plenty of guys they could have drafted. And what did they do? They drafted a backup quarterback pretty much was for him. Which I thought was stupid, but that's why I'm not a GM because I don't make decisions like that. So, definitely looking forward to the Green Bay. I'm sorry, not Green Bay. Looking to see the Jets actually play this year. They got some young guys on defense, so I think they'll help him out getting the ball a little bit. So, Aaron, if he would have had a better season last year, maybe, got deeper into the playoffs, I would have put him at a little higher, but I feel like number 5 is perfect for him. Next up, Josh Allen. Now, this guy, I'm not going to lie, I know on a couple episodes I said I had to eat some crow for this guy because the fact that Josh Allen came out of Wyoming, and I said this dude was going to be a bum. He played against mediocre talent. He didn't play that well. And I felt that Josh Allen has proven me wrong as well as the other doubters. He got with a good trainer. I don't know who he was, but I look him up. He's got a lot more accurate. That deep ball is still there. And the fact that he commands his offense. He's a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. Clearly, you can see in this picture right here. But I think that Josh Allen is number 4 on my list. And he's going to have to win a couple of D's in order to get up there to that number 1 spot. But I feel like he's having good strides in his career. He's still strung some good years together. But he's going to have to get over that hump. He battled it out against Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago. They both put up some monster numbers. But you got to win those big games. Now, number 3, some people think this is biased, but I do not. Number 3 is no other than my guy, Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts, when he came into the league, he surprised me because when he was at Alabama, I was like, this guy's not going to make it. And at the time, he wasn't ready for the type of offense that Alabama had. He was not accurate enough yet. However, what they did was they moved the windows and made them bigger. So they spaced the field out to give him better opportunities to make those tight throws, which is very smart of the offensive coordinator and the head coach of Oklahoma. So when he got to the league, I'm thinking, like, okay, he could be a good backup, behind Carson if he gets banged up. He ended up replacing Carson. First year, wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. Second year, I'm like, okay. He gets to the playoffs. We'll lose to Tom Brady, unfortunately. And then last year, we got all the way to the Super Bowl. He had almost an MVP season. If he didn't hurt that shoulder, I feel like Jalen is on the right path. The reason why I didn't put him higher, A, I didn't want to be biased. And 2, if he would have won that championship, he definitely would have been a little bit higher on this list. But he's still young. We got weapons around him. Only thing that scares me is that we lost our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator in the same year. When you go to the Super Bowl, people will recruit your coaches, which is a good thing because that means we have a good coaching staff. But hopefully, we got some guys that replace him, and I'm okay with moving forward with Jalen Hurts in his contract because I'm glad he got paid now, so we don't have to worry about doing it later. All right, so Jalen Hurts, shout out to you. I feel like you had a great year last year, and I feel like if you stay healthy, I am looking forward to this season. Next up on my list, number 2, is that bad man, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. First of all, I know this is an LSU picture of him, but this is one of the coldest pictures I've seen of Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is better than people thought he would be. I liked him coming out of college. I was like, he's one of the toughest guys I've seen. His rookie year before he tore his ACL, he played against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to lie, we laid into him. I mean, catching him under the chin, hitting him late. He just kept getting up. I'm like, this dude is tough. Joe has a lot of fight in him, and literally I've been watching some interviews of some of the guys that play with him at LSU. He did get in a couple fist fights with some defenders. I like that in a guy because Most guys play quarterback, they're a little pretty. This guy, probably a good-looking guy, but he will get down and dirty with you. He put up a lot of good numbers. He went to a Super Bowl, I think, in his second year. The year's flying by so by. So I think it was his second year. He's in the same AFC with Patrick Mahomes and all those other guys. It's going to be tough, but I think Joe Burrow is in the perfect spot at number 2. And the number 1 guy, of course, you can probably know by now, is no other than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, I had to put him at number 1 over my guy Jalen Hurts. It's because of the fact that he beat us head-to-head when it counted. Everybody be like, oh, well, you guys had a better team. Yes, we did, but we didn't win. So, Patrick Mahomes, shout out to you. The fact that I feel like he had less talent this previous year than the other Super Bowls that he won. I know he had Travis Kelce, but no Tyreek Hill, a young running back, some of those other guys, I don't think they would be as good if they weren't with him. So, shout out to him. Andy Reid's, which one of my favorite coaches, even though he's with the Chiefs. I feel like they have a good marriage together. Andy Reid loves a good gunslinger, and Patrick Mahomes will throw it like nobody's business. But I'm excited for the season to start. I want to see these 10 guys and how well they perform this year. I did have some honorable mentions, but keyword the honorable mentions, and they won't be mentioned in this video. But I can't wait till the time starts for the season. But as for time, this is mine. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley, and I am out of here.
Soundstripe.
Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Hey. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Hey. I grind to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of goals. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Yeah. All I know is get paper. All I do is shit major. Bought a condo on the top floor and the building's a skyscraper. Feeling